What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I have another comparison review of two beers from Ellison Brewery and Spirits, and they are out of East Lansing, Michigan, and we have their Mosaic Evolution and their Nelson Evolution. So both of these beers are double dry hopped American IPAs that come in at 6.75% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in the time of review. Not really sure how old these beers are, but I would bet that they are quite fresh, and that's because both of these beers were sent to me courtesy of a good friend of mine and fellow beer tuber, Eric, over at Eric Alliance Fan. So thank you very much, Eric. I'll post a link in the description box to both Eric's channel and the beer mail unboxing video I did of said goodies he sent my way. So, you know, I wasn't going to do a comparison review, but then I was like, you know what? It might be fun. And that's because both of these are in their Evolution series, which is a single hop, double dry hop American IPA series, where I think the base malt is the same because they're both coming in at 6.75% alcohol by volume. I'd assume the base malt and probably the yeast they're using is probably their house yeast. So everything's the same except for the hops. This one uses Mosaic, this one uses Nelson, and it should be quite interesting to see how the beers change from just the hops themselves. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We'll try to do the duo pour here. Crack them open. We got the Mosaic over here and the Nelson over here. We'll crack them both open and give them a dual pour. I'm sure I'm gonna spill them all over the table. If I don't, then that's on me. All right, not doing too bad so far. Stop there with that one, and we'll stop there with that one. Should be fine. Nice, not terrible. Yet anyway, give it time. All right, so first things first, I don't know how this is gonna come off on camera because my camera is always seemingly a bit different than what I'm seeing, but holding these both up, the Nelson one is definitely quite a bit lighter. The Nelson one has this like yellow orange color, but it's a bit more vibrant and bright. Meanwhile, the Mosaic one over here is like this honey orange color. Both of them are quite opaque, definitely unfiltered, hazy, murky, turbid, the whole nine. Now, as far as the heads are concerned on these, yeah, very similar, off-white, very creamy looking. Looks like we're gonna have some better lacing from the Nelson one. Again, I don't know the ages on these, which one's fresher, if they both release at the same time, but certainly the Mosaic one looks a lot darker. We're gonna start with the nose on this one. Oh, that's really nice, wow. So right up front, I'm hit with this like slight funk character. Could be the Mosaic, could be the yeast, could be the hops, or I mean, could be the malt, could be anything really. Slight funkiness, but then there's this underlying blueberry character. I always mention it whenever I get it Mosaic that, oh, you know, I always get blueberry Mosaic, but I do, and it's here, but it's not the predominant note. I'm just mentioning it because I do pick up on it. There is a lot of stone and tropical fruit in this one. Yeah, definitely some honeydew melon and the cantaloupe vibes. Lychee. Maybe like a red berry too. Maybe the berry note's a bit bigger and not just straight blueberry. Slight underlying notes of like a peach, apricot, mango, stone fruit as well. Not really much citrus to speak of. That actually smells like a fruit bowl. It smells damn tasty. Let's get into the Nelson one. So there is that funkiness. So I'm thinking that's coming probably from the yeast. It's not like you're drinking like a farmhouse ale or something where it has like barnyard funk. It just has like, it's very akin to a lagery funk that some people get. I get it occasionally in lagers, but not a lot. I know other people out there usually refer to it as the lager funk. Getting a little bit of that, probably, like I said, coming from the yeast. But then there's like nice white wine, white grapes, big Nelson, almost gooseberries and a passion fruit as well. Lychee too. It's about the only consistent tasting note, or I should say note in the aroma between the two. Definitely getting lychee in both. While this one had, I didn't mention any like herbaceous or any kind of like piney or earthy tones in this one. This one does have like a distinct earthiness, I would say. Maybe a slight herbal component as well. Definitely smell like two completely different beers aside from the funk component in both of them, but they both smell delicious. I'm leaning towards the Mosaic currently just because it smells more like a fruit bowl, smells like it's gonna be more of my jam, so to speak. So we're gonna get into that one first. So cheers everybody, and thanks again, Eric. Yeah, that's delicious. That is a delicious beer. So for 6.75%, this body is like medium, maybe slightly higher than medium, so it's drinking a bit bigger. if I was doing this blind right now, I'd probably say, you know, 7.5, 8, maybe even 8.5 range. It has like a double IPA feel to the body. The mouthfeel is soft, it's smooth, it's pillowy. There's carbonation there to let you know that this is a carbonated beverage. It is a beer. But at the same time, that mouthfeel being nice, soft, and smooth makes it infinitely more drinkable. The flavors on this one aren't as bold as I was getting in the nose. They're definitely getting more of the red berry, not the blueberry. More of the stone fruit as well. That melon character has died off a little bit as well. More to the honeydew side of things, a sweeter melon. It does have a substantial earthiness and dank component in the taste. The nose didn't translate all that well. I actually think I like the nose on this one better than the taste, but it's still very tasty. It finishes moderately dry and bitter, so it has a balance there. Like right up front, it's very sweet, but as it passes through the palate, it kind of you know, reins it in a bit because of that bitterness and that dryness. Can't really taste the alcohol. Yeah, it's a good beer. Not gonna give it a rating yet, but yeah, it's pretty tasty. Like I said, I think the nose was a bit more bold and intense and what I was looking for, and it didn't translate as well, but it's still a damn good beer. Anyway, let's get into the Nelson one. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, this one, very similar to this one in terms of just, again, the nose not translating as well in the taste. So you do get slight hints of that white grape, white wine character in this one. The body and mouthfeel for both of these are where it's at. This body mouthfeel is almost identical to this one. It's soft, it's smooth, it's pillowy. There's enough carbonation to let you know, hey, there's carbonation, but it doesn't get in the way. And on top of that, the body's like higher side of medium body. So the body and the mouthfeel are winners when it comes to these beers specifically. The taste, though, it's not as boisterous as the aroma for both of these beers, but this one specifically, I think, is dropped off a bit more than this one. So like I said, white wine, white grape, there's more of a distinct earthiness in the taste. This one does finish a bit sweeter and less dry than this one. I'd put the bitterness here at like a mild bitterness and at a semi-dry finish, where this one was more, I'd say this one was semi-dry. This is just a touch of dryness, a touch of bitterness. This is more to the middle moderate part of things. So what's my preference between the two? I think they're both tasty beers, but I wish that the aroma for both of these kind of translated much better because this one smelled like a fruit bowl. This one smelled like, you know, white grapes, white wine, but they both smelled very inviting. And when I'm drinking them, they're good, they're tasty, but they're kind of a letdown from the nose, if that makes any sense. Rating wise, for the Mosaic Evolution, I'm going to give that a straight 4 out of 5. It would have probably got a 4.25 or maybe even a 4.5 if that nose translated. It didn't. Still love the body and the mouthfeel. I think it's a tasty beer, and I'm going to have no problem throwing this one back. The Nelson one, though, the Nelson Evolution, that's going to get a 3.75 out of 5. Don't enjoy it as much as this one, and if I'm just being honest with you guys, the taste itself is just falls flat from the nose more so than the Mosaic version. It's not bad. It's actually, like I said, a solid, tasty beer, but there's only like 2 or 3 notes in the actual taste. The complexity gets kind of lost when it translates over to the taste. So both are good beers. I prefer the Mosaic version, but neither of them are blowing my socks off. I do appreciate Eric sending both of these my way, though, because it was kind of fun to do a side-by-side of 2 IPAs. I did the Celebration from Sierra Nevada, but I haven't done any like, you know, crazy New England style side-by-sides. Now it's time to do the Cuvée, drink a little bit more of this, and then pour them in together. That should be fine. Let's do it. We'll Cuvée it up. I think this should work well. I would hope so anyway. Maybe it'll make this magical IPA that I can only think about. So yeah, that kind of looks right in the middle of both of them. It still has a vibrant yellow, but more to the honey orange side of things, about a finger of a very creamy looking off-white head. Let's get a nose. Ooh. That funkiness, and that's the one thing I did not mention, the funkiness from both beers, that lager funk characteristic that's probably coming from the yeast didn't translate into the taste, which was nice. Cleanse the palate here. Yeah, this has more of that funky yeast component. I assume it's a yeast, could be a malt base. That was another thing, I didn't really pick up on the malt base, was hoping for like a crackery, biscuity kind of malt, maybe like a Golden Promise or Pilsner malt or something. I don't know what they use for the malt base, but I was hoping I would pick up on it a little bit. Really didn't. Just carried the hops. Yeah, this has more of the mosaic, I would say, more of the berry and melon notes. A little bit of that white wine, white grape, but for the most part, really mosaic. No like dankness or herbaceousness or herbal or earthiness or anything. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers. Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Nelson. It just, I really wish the aromas would have carried over both of these. They kind of die in the flavor, and that's, I don't know. I'm not drinking these super cold. They've been out of my fridge for like 25 minutes, maybe a half an hour, so they're probably in like the almost 50 range, so you would think the flavors would open up, and they just haven't. Yeah, it's very akin to the Nelson one. Didn't take on a lot of, there was the mosaic aroma in this one with the Nelson flavor, more of that white wine, white grape. This one finishes more to the drier side, a bit more bitter, so I'd say it has the finish of the mosaic. It's a good blend because you're getting characteristics from both beers, but it really didn't improve the beers at all. So yeah, I'd give the blend, actually, I think they like this less than the Nelson. I'd give it like a 3.5. Don't blend these. Do not do the cuvee. I'm sorry, cuvee? Is that the cuvee? It is the cuvee, and it's a disappointment. Overall, it was fun doing this, and I appreciate Eric sending both of these beers my way. It was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it. Both of them are solid beers. I would highly recommend picking them up and trying them for yourself if you are in East Lansing or anywhere in Michigan that Ellison gets distribution to. But for me personally, they were a bit of a disappointment based on the nose itself. But regardless, they're still good beers. So anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Until the next one, cheers.